One of these men is a highly respected New York attorney, Lucas A. Ferrara. The other is a self-proclaimed man of the people, known as Mert Roberts. Their aim is to discuss the hottest issues impacting our city, state, and nation. Fasten your seatbelts. Shake It Off with Mert and Lucas, live, starts now on AM 970, The Answer.
What the heck is that one called, Alex?
Good evening, Lucas. This is called Busted by Billy Ziogas.
Busted. Oh, how funny. Given our topic today, I'm sure you've all heard about the indictment of former FBI director, the one, the only, James Comey, on September 25th. It was big news. Now, he's charged with making false statements to Congress and obstructing a congressional investigation, and faces the very justice system he once headed. The charges stem from his 2020 testimony about the FBI's Trump Russia probe, which at the time was called Crossfire Hurricane. I don't know where they got that name from. In any event, President Trump, never one to underplay a victory, posted on Trump's social, ready for this, Mert? One of the worst human beings this country has ever been exposed to is James Comey. He has been so bad for our country for so long and is now at the beginning of being held responsible for his crimes against our nation. Make America great again. Well, I don't know if Comey is the worst human being. I wouldn't say that. But he was certainly weirdly divisive. I mean, if you ask me, and I'll ask your opinion in a second, Mert, especially when it came to his handling of the investigations involving Hillary Clinton. I didn't get that whole thing there. And just to refresh your recollection, Mert, back in 2016, just 11 days before the election, Comey sent a letter to Congress advising that the FBI was reviewing new emails potentially related to Clinton's use of a private server to hold or transmit secret and top secret documents, which allegedly is illegal. And Comey's move was widely seen as damaging to Hillary's campaign, and many analysts believe that may have influenced the election outcome. Now, Comey told the Senate Judiciary Committee back in 2017, "It makes me mildly nauseous that we would have had an impact on the election." Really? What did he think would happen when he dropped a bombshell like that? Seems disingenuous to me. The more I look into this guy, Mert, the more he comes off as a liar and a phony. What do you say, Mert?
Well, I always say this. You're very gifted at asking tough questions, but you try to make them seem innocent. But this is a very nefarious question you're asking, because Comey is a political retribution case happening right before our eyes right here.
I don't think anybody disputes that. He tried to go for Trump, and Trump is going after him. So what?
But when you call the man a loser, when you sully his name, when you say he clouded the election, and you're saying he did it for Hillary, I mean, you would think that would help out Donald Trump. That would make Donald Trump like him, but for some reason, whatever the reason is, we don't need to discuss that.
Well, we'll
Trump
get to it
doesn't like
later,
him
because apparently Cuomo, I keep calling him Comey. I'm thinking of Andrew Cuomo on that disastrous debate the other day.
Right.
Comey came out with a book, Mert, and he was not very nice about Trump. We'll talk about that a little later, but go ahead.
But my point is this. People would think that I have a problem with what Trump is doing, but the reason I don't have a problem with it is because I put it like this. Republicans are cheering for these type of maneuvers that Trump continues to do, where he puts pressure on his DOJ to go after people. And I'm just saying, let's all let this happen, because once Democrats get back in the office, once progressives get back in the office, it should be the same treatment for their opponents. They should go after their opponents, not anything illegal, just a little innocent little nudge telling your DOJ, hey, I want you to go look into this guy. Let's make their life
that's what Obama
a living hell.
allegedly did, and that's what Biden allegedly did, my friend. Obama was behind the alleged Russian conspiracy. There was all a setup, according to Trump, by Democratic presidents, Democratic administrations. They started this war, Mert. And
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know about any of that stuff. I don't know about any of that stuff. I don't know about any of that stuff. You could be making all that up for all I know. But my point stands. I'm standing with my point. You can say all that stuff because I don't even know what you're talking about right now. But I'm going to say this. Going to say this.
People out there do. Go ahead.
I'm going to say this. When it comes time for the Democrats to get back in office, I want all you Republicans out there to be on high alert because we're going to come after you.
You know what's
and we're
going to
do it. We're going to do it through the legal system.
Biden set up a very nice precedent. Trump is going to issue like 1,000. He's going to issue like 1,000, 1,000,000 pardons, and good luck. He's going to take out his auto pen and he's going to sign 1,000,000 pardons.
What about the one that George Santos he just did? That was.
I mean, I didn't get the George Santos, and we're going to talk about that in a future show because the worst guy to commute a sentence. But let's not talk about him, please. But look, Joy Behar, she's one of the hosts of.
It's Behar. Get her name right. You're doing that on purpose.
Behar.
I don't like how you're trying to mess up the girl's name like that.
Behar. On September 25th, in a moment that stunned viewers and rattled the show's daytime banter, Joy, the longtime critic of Donald Trump, offer a rare nod of agreement. The reason, of course, Comey. Behar, never one to mince words, declared as follows. Ready for this quote, Mert? Happy Trump went after Comey, end quote, citing her resentment over the former director's handling of the Hillary Clinton email investigation. Here's a quote. I don't like what he did to Hillary, Behar said. The irony wasn't lost on the Views panel or the audience. She aligned with Trump, even if fleeting and issue-specific. It felt like watching cats and dogs agree on climate change. It wasn't a political endorsement, but a moment of shared vendetta. Yeah, that sounds like Behar. Her critique wasn't about the Russian probe or Trump's alleged interference. It was personal, rooted in the belief that Comey's late-stage email helped tip the 2016 election. Here's a quote, Mert. I rarely have something nice to say about Trump, she said, but in this case, I agree with him. Now, the moment was less about political reconciliation. It was about retribution. And in the theater of American politics, where alliances shift and grudges linger, her comment was a reminder, Mert. Sometimes even the fiercest opponents can find common ground, especially when it comes to settling old scores. Now, how scary is that, my friend? She's agreeing with Trump.
Yeah. She's not slick, though. I don't like what she's trying to do because what she's trying to do is she's trying to rewrite history. Because we know why Hillary didn't win. It ain't got nothing to do with Comey. It's got everything to do with women. Women didn't come out and support her like they should have.
And men too.
No. I'm saying this is a women. This is women right here. There was enough men to support Hillary. This is women that didn't support her, and this is what you get: women not supporting women. And now she's trying to rewrite history and say, "Hey, Comey might have been the reason she didn't win." Let me just be honest with her, with anybody listening. If you're into politics, maybe the Comey thing would assuage your opinion, but most people, they don't even give that a second thought. Didn't matter to them whatsoever. They wasn't going to vote for Hillary because of her attitude, because of some of the things she said, and at the end of the day, they just didn't feel comfortable voting for a woman. They rather vote for a man because in a lot of people's eyes, I spoke to a lot of older people, they still like the strength that a man presents. And a guy like Donald Trump, who says what he means and means what he says, that was enough to say, you know what, We might not like everything he's saying, but he's a man, and he's, symbolizes strength, and that's the message they want to go with. So Joy Behar is being disingenuous, and I don't know if she's doing it on purpose or not, but I've caught up to her little scheme, what she's trying to do here. She's not putting the heat on women. She's trying to put it on Comey. Now she's supporting the move Donald Trump is making after being against everything this man does. I don't like it.
But you have to admit, the October email was just really disastrous for the Clinton campaign.
I'm sure it did impact some votes, Mert.
Yeah,
but, Hillary's problem.
Not enough to sway the election, though. Not enough, because most people don't pay attention to that type of stuff.
Let's ask a woman, Gabby. What do you think? Was Hillary her own worst enemy? What do you think?
I personally have to say so. Yes.
Yes, she wasn't likable. She called half the American people deplorables. She just had a wrong attitude, wrong approach. It was a combination of a lot of mistakes. Let
me say this, that goes a long way what you just said, because if you said deplorables, more people would be able to say, hey, ain't that what Hillary said? Versus if you said Comey, most people would be like, who is that? Comey?
Yeah, but when you have razor-thin margins or election is close or whatever. In the meantime, by the way, she was anticipated to win, if I recall correctly. Right, Alex? Hillary was the favorite in 2016.
Of course she was. And then I do believe that October email made a difference. Also, nobody really liked the fact on either side he didn't even prosecute her in July. That was a mistake on his part, too.
Well, look, in 2018, Mert, Comey famously called Trump morally unfit to be president. So, see, we're talking about the underpinnings here. A statement that cemented his role as a lightning rod. Now, his legal team is expected to argue that his 2020 testimony was truthful and that any discrepancies were the result of memory lapses. Not malice. I don't know about that. And apparently there are other witnesses involved. But Comey, I think he's not so clean. And he's not so popular. I mean, over the years, Mert, people haven't really liked the guy. Back in 2018, when he released his book, it was called A Higher Loyalty, and that's where he really came after Trump in there, by the way. Wait, in any event, when he came out with his book, an Axios Survey monkey poll found that 36% of Americans had an unfavorable view of Comey. 35% trusted Comey more than Trump, so that means the balance of Americans didn't trust him. 25% distrusted both. 56% believed Comey was promoting his book. So many people think he was more after money than principle, and only 38% saw Comey as a truth teller. So since 2018, he's basically been seen, and this is my opinion, Mert, as an opportunist promoting his stuff and wasn't much of a truth teller. Now, before you react, Mert, this is what you had asked earlier. In that book, A Higher Loyalty, which came out in 2018, James Comey said the following, right? He talked about a private dinner at the White House where Trump allegedly said to him, I need loyalty, I expect loyalty, and Comey interpreted that as troubling and compromising the independence of the FBI, so he wrote about that. He claimed that Trump asked him to drop the investigation into National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. I hope you can let this go, is what Trump supposedly said. Comey objected to that, and he discussed his dismissal and suggested it was linked to the Russian investigation, and he also reflected on the chaos that follows. Here we go, Mert. Comey described Trump unethical, untethered to the truth. He called him a mob boss. Okay?
No.
A mob boss would have buried him in cement, Mert.
Well, he's being, he's using a metaphor there, so I'm not going to hold him to that. But I'm not going for that because it doesn't take you having a private dinner or whatever you said to understand the nature of what Trump is. Trump is a personable type of guy. He's not looking at things where I'm going to pull one over on you and you're not going to see it coming. He's very transparent, which is why he's very successful. So Comey, in my opinion, this is what I believe happened, and this is why I think he's being prosecuted right now. He agreed and he signed up for everything Trump. He signed up for it. And then when he got the prestige and the reputation and his profile was elevated, and he can come out with a book because who knew him before that to buy his book? Once he gets all this stuff and he no longer likes the direction Trump is going in, now he wants to talk about his character. You know, he wants to sully the guy's name. And the Joy Behars of the world already don't like him for what he said about Clinton. So he's trying to find some kind of way to get back to the center so somebody can like him, because you just went against Trump because you didn't want to play ball. No, I don't have any sympathy for Comey. However, I understand and realize this is retribution. I understand that. But I also understand politicians don't necessarily follow the laws. They just make sure, hey, if you screw me, there's a law in place where I can go after you because you told me you were going to do something. That's how politics work. And Comey didn't play ball. Like you just said, if Trump told him to go after Flynn, you find a way within the system to do that. You don't create something. You find something, just like they're doing with Letitia James, just like they're doing with him.
But Letitia James was on a vendetta when she was running for AG. She swore she was going to get Trump. She said she was going to find things on Trump. She was going to search for dirt on him. That's not a vendetta.
If you're going to go after no, you can have vendettas, but you make sure you find something that's actually against the law.
Well,
and that's what they're doing.
She allegedly did, and a judge issued a ruling of $500 million in penalties. And by the way, there's still some consequences from that case. It wasn't fully reversed. There's some injunctions in place limiting what Trump can do. There are real consequences from what Letitia.
But if anybody's not clear about my stance, I support
make it clear
what
now
Trump's
because we're running out of time.
I support what Trump's doing, because once Democrats get into power, we can do the same thing. So as long as we can do it,
and you guys have been doing it since the Biden era. So
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know anything about that. I don't know what he's talking
about. Come on.
I don't know what he's talking
you're
about.
You're a Democrat. I thought you weren't. Oh, please. Look, Comey's indictment is not just about one man. It's about the soul of American governance, okay? It's about whether institutions can survive the storms of partisanship, whether truth can be separated from political narrative, and whether justice can be served without becoming a weapon, which is, I think, what's your point, Mert? Yes, for Trump, it's a long-awaited reckoning, no question. But for the rest of us, it's a brutal truth in the age of political warfare that even the so-called guardians of justice can be dragged into dirt, and in the process, they're not just stained, but soaked, reeking of rot they were meant to fight. And maybe the real tragedy, Mert, is not just that justice can be compromised, but we've been grown to watch this nonsense. The mud doesn't shock us anymore. It stains, it sticks, and we move on until the next fall from grace.
Amen.
And how sad is that? Now, while on the topic of Guardians of Justice, welcome to episode 67 of Shake It Off with Mert and Lucas Live. We're into our second year, 67, would you believe it? And this is Lucas Ferrara. We're so grateful to have you with us in the studio. Alex Garrett working the board. Gabby Pisani is also in the studio. We'll be speaking to her a little later. And we have Ashley Ferranti in Master Control, making sure we all behave. And when we come back, we've got some special guests in store for you. Our first guest, Jeff Coltin. He is a political reporter and co-author of Politico's New York Playbook. Ready for some fireworks? Don't go away, because when we come back, we'll be joined by Jeff Coltin. Shake it off. Don't make us report you to the powers that be.
Amen.
For 81 years, Columbus Citizens Foundation has promoted Italian-American culture and heritage and has provided thousands of scholarships to talented Italian-American students who need support to achieve their academic dreams. These scholarships enrich the lives of those who are destined to be future leaders in our community. Be a champion and support the next generation. To find out how you can help Columbus Citizens Foundation, visit www.columbuscitizens.org. These extraordinary students inspire us every day. Their creativity, passion, and pride in their heritage are a winning combination. These scholarships ensure promising students will achieve their goals and be engaged members of their communities. Columbus Citizens Foundation proudly brings the Columbus Day Parade to New York City every year, and you can help them bring a quality education to Italian-American students in need by donating today. Visit their website at www.columbuscitizens.org.
Over the last 30 years, Newman Ferrara, a New York City law firm, has evolved into a national practice focused on real estate, commercial, litigation, civil rights, class actions, and other complex litigation, representing many of the city's largest property owners, managing agents, and thousands of tenants. Newman Ferrara handles some of the nation's most significant class actions and civil rights matters. Newman Ferrara at 1250 Broadway in New York City. Go online to newmanferrara.com. That's newmanferrara.com. Listen to the firm's name partner, Lucas Ferrara, every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Dottie Herman's longest-running real estate radio program, Eye on Real Estate, on AM 970. A real estate lawyer for 35 years, Lucas is a professor at New York Law School and is also a published author with books on real estate and New York's landlord-tenant law. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to hear Lucas's unique perspective and advice on Eye on Real Estate.
Nowadays, when a lot of food is good and expensive, Michael's of Brooklyn is something that's just plain good. And if you want the best homemade Italian food, then you must get to Michael's of Brooklyn, Avenue R off Nostrand Avenue. Say hello to Fred and tell him Kevin McCullough sent you here to eat fantastic fresh pasta. And if you can't get to Michael's of Brooklyn, then how about joining the Sauce of the Month Club? You get a different jar of Michael's of Brooklyn pasta sauce and homemade pasta and biscotti each month for 6 months. Each month receive exquisite sauces ranging from arrabbiata to puttanesca and, of course, the fresh marinara. They're family-owned and operated, and I can attest to the authenticity of every one of their recipes. That's why it's stacked in my pantry. Everything is made completely from scratch. Even the sauce they sell in the grocery stores nationwide. They make it right there at Michael's of Brooklyn. So visit michaelsofbrooklyn.com and join the Sauce of the Month Club. That's michaelsofbrooklyn.com or call 718-998-7851. Michael's of Brooklyn, serving the community since 1964.
I'm Dottie Herman, Vice Chair of Douglas Elliman and host of Real Talk and Eye on Real Estate on AM 970 The Answer. I'm a lifelong New Yorker and I care deeply about our neighborhoods, our businesses, and the future of New York. New Yorkers are facing the most important issues this election day: public safety, education, the economy, and our overall quality of life. This election will make or break us, and it's critical that you know the facts, understand what's at stake, and most importantly, get out and vote. Early voting begins Saturday, October 25th and runs through November 2nd. Early voting begins Saturday, October 25th and runs through November 2nd. I urge every New Yorker to vote. Again, early voting begins Saturday, October 25th. Election day is on Tuesday, November 4th. Every vote counts. Recognize what's at stake and go and vote.
Welcome back to Shake It Off with Mert and Lucas, live on AM 970, The Answer.
Go vote. Go vote. Okay, that one sounds very familiar, Alex.
This is like a Shake It Off favorite. It's called Go Vote by Chris Pixer.
Oh boy, with Election Day rapidly approaching, it's an honor to have one of the sharpest political minds covering New York City politics joining us today. Of course, I'm referring to the one, the only, Jeff Coltin. If you follow city politics, you've likely come across him and know his work. Jeff is the co-author of Politico's New York Playbook, where he delivers daily scoops and deep dives into the power players shaping the 5 boroughs. And before Politico, he was the City Hall bureau chief at City and State New York, where he built a reputation for breaking stories and decoding campaign strategy. He's covered everything from mayoral races to housing policy, and his reporting has been featured across Pix 11, Yahoo News, and more. Believe it or not, he's originally from Phoenix. What are you doing here, Jeff? He got his start at Fordham University in the Bronx, and he now calls the Upper West Side home. He's got a decade of experience, a keen eye for political drama, and a knack for making the complex issues accessible. We're thrilled to have him on the show. Jeff Coltin, welcome.
You are being far too kind to me. Can you believe I'm about to be on my 4th mayor? I started at the very end of Bloomberg, and we're going through de Blasio, through Adams, and we're going to have a 4th mayor in a matter of months now.
Well, do I express my condolences, or I just say, let's get right to it? Mamdani, I read your column the other day in the Playbook, and basically you say, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that Mamdani won the debate the other day with Cuomo and Sliwa. Is that your assessment?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, his style and his substance, and most importantly, he already has a big lead. I mean, Mamdani is way up in the polls, double-digit lead in every poll. All he had to do was play it safe and maintain that lead, not screw up, and he did that and more. I mean, I think that he has a lot of criticism for being young and inexperienced, and I think that he just seemed calm, cool, and collected on that stage. And so the only criticism that people could make of him was then on the policies. And look, there are a lot of criticisms on his policies. Something like 50% of New Yorkers don't want a Mamdani, according to the polls. But I don't think you're going to be flipping any new voters to a Cuomo or to a Sliwa and away from a Mamdani with attacks like that we saw in the debate. I think he maintains his big lead after that one.
So Mert has a question for you. Before we get to my co-host Mert, we had Betsy McCoy, the former lieutenant governor of New York, on the show the other week, and I said it looks like it's a Mamdani win. It's Mamdani's race. She just yelled at me saying that I was being overly negative, because there's still a shot that he can lose if more voters came out. You think there's a chance he can lose, or is it remote?
It's remote. I mean, it's not impossible. We never know what could happen in the next few weeks. And, of course, we know that polls are often correct, but not always correct. Sometimes the polls get it wrong. So, of course, I'm keeping open to the possibility that this race could change. And, of course, the Cuomo campaign is reminding us constantly that this guy won the governor's race 3 times. He won attorney general once before that. And even in his losing effort to Mamdani, the guy got a lot of votes. I mean, there was something like 400,000 New Yorkers that still voted for him in the primary. So he is a powerful politician. You can't completely count him out in this race, even if Mamdani is in the dominant position.
Jeff Mert, my co-host, is also known as the Mertinator, has been patiently waiting. Go ahead, Mert.
Wow.
We lost Mert. Mert, we're having connection problems.
No, I'm here. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Let's go.
I hear you.
All right. So, yeah. So my question is,
are you hearing static, Alex? Because I'm hearing. Okay, Alex, did you have a question for Jeff?
We'll get to Mert 1 second. He's got to reconnect.
Yeah, we're having a problem with the connection.
Jeff,
now,
if their poll numbers are lower going to the second debate, does either of them drop out if either of their numbers are lower than the first debate? Either Cuomo or Sliwa?
No, I just don't foresee that happening. Both Cuomo and Sliwa are incredibly stubborn people, and Curtis Sliwa has been pressured so much. He's been pressured by billionaires, by Republicans, by Democrats. Every single way he could be getting pressure to drop out of this race, he is getting it, and he is saying no. He said the only thing that's going to get him out of this race is a Mack truck hitting him and turning him into a speed bump. He said the only way he's going to get out of this race is in a pine box. That doesn't seem like somebody that's just going to roll over and give Cuomo the one-on-one race against Mamdani that he dreams about. So no, I think this is going to be a 3-candidate race until the end, until November.
Wow. Let me ask you something, and this is an opinion question, Jeff, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but do you think the Mamdani candidacy signals the demise of the Democratic Party here in New York City? Because this is
it's a changing Democratic Party. Yeah, no, I think that, of course, the Democratic Party has a lot of disagreements. We see it constantly with these really energetic Democratic primary challenges. You know, folks like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez trying to take down Joe Crowley. But I don't think this is the end of the Democratic Party. I think this is just a shifting of the current power structure in the Democratic Party. And, of course, we do see a lot of your more traditional Democratic Party leaders joining in with Mamdani. We see Kathy Hochul endorsing him. We see some of the big labor unions like the Hotel Trades Council and 32BJ. They're getting along with Mamdani. So yes, he's a democratic socialist. He disagrees with a lot of mainstream Democratic positions. But, the fact is he is a Democrat. He is part of that party. It's much like Trump and the MAGA movement. That is the Republican Party now. And there have been shifting of kind of the middle of the party. And we may be seeing something like that, at least in New York City. I'm definitely not ready to say nationally yet. I think that New York City is to the left of the Democratic Party nationally, to say the least. But in New York, this is a shifting of the party, and it's more power to the progressives, more power to the left.
Now, can you hear me now, guys?
Yes, we can hear you, Bert. Welcome back. Go ahead, Bert.
All right. Well, we're about to go to the break, so you can probably answer this fully after the break. But the one thing I'm always interested in when you got somebody as smart as you when it comes to how politics work, is it frustrating to understand that most people don't pay attention to the substance? They pay attention to, like the lady in California, Katie Porter. A video comes out and just tanks everything she was working for. And usually it's that type of stuff that influences campaigns a tremendous amount. So in your opinion, what is that balance between the details? How much of that stuff is the regular person actually paying attention to by the time the candidates gets on their radar in the first place? You understand what I'm trying to ask you here?
I think it's a great question. I mean, look, I would love everybody to be reading the Politico New York Playbook newsletter every morning, which I co-author. So please sign up for the Politico New York Playbook newsletter. And I think that would be great if more people are following politics closely. But, it's simply something that politicians and that people who are interested in political persuasion, people interested in organizing, that's something they have to live with and they have to work with. That was a very impressive part of the Zoran Mamdani campaign, is that he kept things very simple, very straightforward. I think almost every voter knew freeze the rent, free buses. It's just simple, straightforward policy ideas and slogans that he was pitching. And again, it was simply it's an opportunity for campaigns.
Okay, Jeff, we have to go to a commercial break. But have no fear, Jeff will be rejoining us after these quick messages. For more about Jeff, you'll find him on Politico.com and on WordPress, jeffcoltin.wordpress.com. You'll also find links on our website. When we come back, get ready to buckle up with Jeff Coltin as we continue this political joyride. But please, no campaign flyers in the studio. It is strictly prohibited.
Over the
last 30 years, Newman Ferrara, a New York City law firm, has evolved into a national practice focused on real estate, commercial, litigation, civil rights, class actions, and other complex litigation, representing many of the city's largest property owners, managing agents, and thousands of tenants. Newman Ferrara handles some of the nation's most significant class actions and civil rights matters. Newman Ferrara at 1250 Broadway in New York City. Go online to newmanferrara.com. That's newmanferrara.com. Listen to the firm's name partner, Lucas Ferrara, every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Dottie Herman's longest-running real estate radio program, Eye on Real Estate on AM 970. A real estate lawyer for 35 years, Lucas is a professor at New York Law School and is also a published author with books on real estate and New York's landlord-tenant law. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to hear Lucas's unique perspective and advice on Eye on Real Estate. I love bringing you products that improve your life. Well, this product can save a life. There are 5,000 choking deaths in the U.S. annually. One child dies every 5 days from choking. Older adults are also at increased risk of choking. Foods eaten by the handful like popcorn, grapes, peanuts, they get overloaded in the mouth, cause a choking episode. LifeVac is a simple rescue device that can change a life in a choking emergency. It's non-invasive and easy to use. If you have a young child or a senior relative, I strongly recommend you visit the LifeVac website today at lifevac.net. View the videos demonstrating its ease of use. LifeVac works in 3 simple steps. Place, push, pull. The LifeVac device dislodges the obstruction and suctions out the food or object. It's that simple, and it can be self-administered. Lifevac.net. MyPillow is excited to announce they're having their biggest 3-in-1 sale ever with a limited edition product, a back-in-stock special, and an overstock deal you won't find anywhere else. My slippers only $39.98. Any color, any style. Regular $149.98. Now only $39.98. That's $110 savings. Once they're gone for good. My towels are finally back in stock, but not for long. Get a 6-piece My Towel set, regular $69.98. Now only $39.98. And for the first time and only time ever, get their limited edition premium My Pillows made with Giza cotton and a designer gusset. Queens $17.98, Kings only $19.98. Also, for a limited time, when your order is over $100, you will receive free shipping plus $100 in free digital gifts. So go to mypillow.com or call 800-651-0798 and use the promo code Joe P. Use your promo code for the best offers ever. Quantities are extremely limited, so order now.
Bay Ridge Honda. Let me tell you something. Rob Sabat and his family, who have been running this place forever. It is a fantastic location. It's a beautiful dealership. They're selling a fantastic product. The Honda products are superior. I've gotten cars there. My grandfather's gotten cars. My sister's gotten cars there. Jacob, Josh, Grandma Julie, so many people. Why do you go to Bay Ridge Honda? Because Rob Sabat and his team are really the most trusted and best in the business. Now that we're in the thick of fall, that means huge savings at Bay Ridge Honda during their Zero Down for Fall event. Drive home a 2026, a brand new HR-V LX with their exclusive lease offer starting as low as $299 a month with no money down, or lease the sleek and sporty 2025 Honda Accord Sedan LX starting as low as $279 a month with no money down. Don't wait. Stop at Bay Ridge Honda at 4th Avenue and 8th Street in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, or visit them at bayridgehonda.com.
Welcome back to Shake It Off with Mert and Lucas, live on AM 970. The Answer.
Go vote. Go vote. We are back with Jeff Coltin. He's co-author of the New York Playbook at Politico, former City Hall bureau chief. Many say he's the only guy who can decode our city and state without a translator, and he's crushing the airwaves with us today. Now, for more about Jeff, look for him on Politico and on WordPress. But Jeff, where can people sign up for your newsletter again? I missed that link, so if you could provide it, please.
Yeah. Politico New York. Just Google the Politico New York playbook, and it's at the top of the page there. You can sign up. We're in your inbox every Monday through Friday, every morning. We got your New York politics news.
Amen. And you also put up links on our website, Jeff. Okay, are you ready for the Mertinator, Jeff? Because he's got a follow-up question for you.
Listen, this guy, he definitely does sound like he can decode a lot of things. And this is what I want you to decode this for me, because I'm just a simple man. You know, I don't have no fancy degree or anything like that. I don't know about New York City politics such as yourself. But what I want you to decode for me right now is the stuff that this guy is saying, Mamdani. The free this, the free that, how much of that is actually possible versus how much of, once he gets in office, if he wins, he's going to be in for a rude awakening when it becomes apparent, man, I really can't make this stuff happen because there's so many roadblocks and walls in place that is preventing this from happening. Because I see a lot of stuff that says, you can't do anything. You can't raise taxes. That's for Albany. You're not even allowed to do this type of stuff. How much of what he's talking about is actually in his purview as the mayor if he wins for him to accomplish some of this stuff?
That's right. It's a great question and a very fair one, because a lot of this, he can't just snap his fingers. He's going to need a lot of friends in the state government to help him with. So sure, like freezing the rent on rent-stabilized apartments. There's something like 1 million rent-stabilized apartments. Now, mayors have done this. Bill de Blasio froze the rent for several years. That is something that Mamdani can do.
Yep.
He might face a law. In fact, not might. He will face a lawsuit from the landlords. But, you know, de Blasio survived those lawsuits. Right. I think that can happen. So he can freeze the rent. Again, it's not on everybody. It's just on people in rent-regulated apartments. Free buses, that's something that the state government has to do, MTA. Now, he has gotten that before a small pilot project, 1 bus lane in every borough. That's something that a lot of state lawmakers, the governor, they're open to. So that's something that he could get done. He's just going to need some allies. He's going to need a coalition to get free buses. Raising taxes, that's another thing. You know, a lot of state legislators, they like that idea. They want to raise taxes. The governor, she's not so sure. Governor Hochul is up for re-election next year. She doesn't necessarily want to raise taxes. She's basically said, I'm not going to raise taxes. Mamdani said, well, I'm going to work on her. You know, we're going to try. Another one she does want, universal child care. Mamdani has a plan or a proposal to get everybody that has a child from age, I think it's 0 to preschool, so 0, 1, 2, free child care. And Hochul, the governor, she said, I'm interested in that. Of course, that would be a wildly expensive, complicated plan. It would take some time to phase in. It would take some time to work out the kinks and the details. But that's something that the governor is open to and that he could get done. So it's a mix. I mean, a lot of this is going to require some difficult politics.
I don't mean to cut you off, but let me ask you this.
Please.
Do you personally feel like these issues are significant enough to be worthy of an entire term for mayor? Because some of these issues sound like they could happen in a couple months and you get it done and then it's like, what's next? So what is his long-term legacy supposed to be if he becomes mayor? Because a lot of this stuff sounds like it could happen within a year. Like, oh, we made all the buses free and we did all this stuff. Now what? What is he really like? What is something that's going to take 4 years, or what is his real mission? Is it just these things? Because they sound simple to me. I don't know. I don't want to, undermine the man, but some of these things sound like maybe a advocate or something like that could propose this stuff. Like you just said, the 1 bus lane thing he already got through or whatever. Like, is this a mayor type of platform?
It's a good question. I mean, I first of all, I don't think any of this is going to be too easy. So, some of it could happen in year 1 of a Mamdani mayor. Some of it might take 2 years, 3 years. Other stuff always takes long. He wants to do more publicly funded housing. He wants the city government to build heavily subsidized, cheap, affordable housing. We know that takes a very long time. That's going to take years at best. It could even be built in the next mayor, after term limits, we're going to see a lot of the stuff that Mayor Eric Adams has started will get done under the next mayor. That's just the nature of the slow-moving construction under city government. So housing is something. And, Mamdani has another plan to really revamp the public safety apparatus. He wants a Department of Community Safety taking over some responsibilities of the police, like mental health calls on the street, that kind of thing. We know that would take a long time to create a whole new department, to implement, to hire people, to move jobs and move responsibilities around. So, a lot of these are longer-term plans. And, of course, mayor of New York City, things are always going to be coming up. Things are always going to be changing. We didn't predict COVID. We didn't predict 250,000 migrants coming from other countries into New York City. So it's not like Mamdani's just going to snap his fingers and get it all done in the first year. There is always going to be challenges if he's mayor, if anybody's mayor.
Final question, not to put you on the spot, but does he seem like a mayor of New York type of guy? Because he doesn't seem like that to me. Maybe he's too young. He doesn't seem grizzled enough.
Play the zonk for me to answer Bert's question.
He doesn't seem grizzled enough.
He would be the youngest mayor in more than 100 years. This is he would be the first Muslim mayor of New York City, the first millennial mayor. He would be unlike any mayor we've ever had. But every mayor is unique. Michael Bloomberg, we never had a billionaire mayor before. Eric Adams, we never had a cop mayor who was arrested as a kid. Every mayor is unique, and Mamdani, if he does become mayor, he's just going to become, a different kind of leader of New York City. If that's the case, it's going to be interesting if that's what happens.
What did you think,
about that
Jeff?
zonk, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's okay. There's the zonk. Jeff, let me ask you. This is again an opinion question. So Hochul came out, endorsed Mamdani, but then the other day when Mamdani was asked whether he endorsed Hochul, he didn't respond or declined to. Was that a slap in the face of the governor or what? That's not a good way to start if he's going to be the next mayor. What did you think of that?
Yeah, it was a little embarrassing for the governor, but she understands, everybody understands, that he doesn't want to make some big endorsement announcement when he's put on the spot at a debate. I think any politician in his spot would have probably had an awkward moment there. It was an awkward question. So, look, it looked bad. The Republican who's running for governor next year, Elise Stefanik, she put it all over social media because, of course, everybody wants to be endorsed. But I don't read too much into it. I expect Mamdani actually will come around and work with Hochul and probably endorse her for re-election in 2026.
I said to myself, how dumb is it that she came out to endorse Mamdani and didn't say to him, by the way, I'm putting myself out there for you. You better put yourself out there for me. It was weird. The whole thing was weird, and it struck me as an insult. But I'm just a novice. I'm not the expert like you. But there's more to come. There's more to come. Jeff, this was an absolute pleasure. Any final thoughts before we go? Do you want to share? Give us that link to your newsletter again one more time.
Yeah, it's called Politico New York Playbook. So just look it up, the New York Playbook. We got a newsletter out. And last thing I'll say is that early voting opens on Saturday. You can go vote in person starting on October 25th all the way through Election Day, November 4th. Hope everybody reads up and follows along and gets out there.
Well,
yes.
Before yes,
hurry up, go. Good.
I still got time. I'm not.
Yeah, but Mert, you're fading out again. Your connection's fading out again. But when we come back, hey, Alex, play the Go Vote music for Jeff. Come on. When we come back, hey, Mert, are you back? Are you back?
Yeah, we still got time. We still got time, like 4 minutes.
Mert.
This.
Jeff, look at this technical problems we're having. I hope you don't mind. Hurry up.
It happens to everybody.
Yeah, live show. This is what you get for a live show. Mert, are you there or are you gone?
No, I'm here. You can't hear me?
Yeah, go. Hurry up. We're running out of time.
I want to ask you, what is Mamdani's reputation in government? Is he known as somebody who works with people? Like, what is his reputation as a politician currently? Because I didn't hear a lot about him before
30
now.
seconds, Jeff. Go.
Yeah, real quick, I'll say that actually in Albany, when he was an assembly member, honestly, not the greatest reputation. People liked him. He wasn't exactly a team player with everybody. But his mayoral campaign, everybody has been impressed. Even people that hate his politics, even Andrew Cuomo, they say this guy has run a historic campaign, one for the ages. So you got to hand it to him. I mean, it's been impressive.
Look, they just told me that we've extended the segment because you're such a VIP, Jeff, so you're not going away so fast. What do you think of the GOP's messaging? Stefanik, do you think she's got a shot to beat Hochul? Because
it's a long shot. I mean, this is New York, We're a democratic state. It's not impossible, but it's going to be also very hard when Donald Trump is in the White House. Generally, New Yorkers, I mean, we just saw with the new King's March, the No King's March, I should say, on Saturday, a lot of energy among anti-Trump Democrats, anti-Trump voters. So I think it's going to be hard for any Republican to win over New York, win the governor's race next year. I would be pretty surprised if anybody's able to unseat our Democratic incumbent Hochul.
What is the most underreported political feud happening in New York City right now? Come on, give us a little gossip, Bud, before we close out the show with the hour that is.
One thing I'm keeping my eye on is congressional races next year. We're seeing DSA, the Democratic Socialists. They're getting pretty excited. They're feeling like they are about to win the mayor's race with Mamdani. They're going to try to unseat Congressman Dan Goldman. So lower Manhattan, western Brooklyn, really, the expensive parts of New York. There's going to be possibly a big congressional race there between DSA and between the moderate Democrat currently in office. So I'm keeping my eye on that one. We could have another interesting, socialist versus capitalist congressional race going on.
Look, a listener just sent a question. Here we go. Ready? If New York City politics were a reality show, what would it be called? Sorry, but that's the listener's question. What would you call the reality show?
I guess right now it's Survivor Manhattan Island.
Hey,
I mean,
man.
Cuomo was voted off. And he's back. It's Survivor All-Stars. Cuomo was voted off as governor 4 years ago. He's trying to make it comeback attempt. So let's call it that. Survivor Manhattan Island.
I love it. That was a great response. But on Cuomo, do you think it was a mistake for him to run for mayor? I thought it was my opinion, I thought it was stupid given the scandal and the way, the disgraced way he left office. And also the fact that he messed up COVID and his COVID legacy seems to be mired a little bit. Do you think he was the best candidate? Should have run?
Well, he could have been mayor. He was coming in a heavy favorite. I mean, a lot of people say if he had simply run a better campaign, that he would be our presumptive mayor right now. So maybe running wasn't a bad idea. It was just not preparing for and not expecting a Zoran Mamdani to come out here and defeat him. So, I'm sure he has regrets.
And complacency.
Yeah, complacency.
Yep, his heart wasn't in it. But now, Jeff, we've really run out of time. For more about Jeff, look him up on Politico.com, please. And you'll also find links on our website, ShakeItOffLive.com. Jeff, our sincerest thanks for gracing us with your presence. It was a true honor. Thank you. When we come back...
Thanks for all the kind words.
By Samantha Edis. Samantha Edis is a best-selling author, Harvard MBA and media personality whose career spans entrepreneurship, public speaking, and advocacy. In recent years, she's emerged as a leading voice against anti-Semitism, and she's got a documentary coming out. So it's imperative you come back after the news at the top of the hour. Suffer through a few commercials. Mert, Alex, Gabby, Samantha, and I will be here waiting for you. We know you want to shake it off with us, so come back for hour 2. A lot more controversy awaits. If you're loving the program, show us some love back. Vote in our favor by returning after this break. And let's keep the good stuff and the good times rolling.
Oh.
preceding hour of programming, sponsored by Shake It Off Live, LLC.